Hi, everybody. This week we're going to be looking at getting to know your formulas in a spreadsheet that perhaps you didn't create, or even if you did create it, maybe it was a little while ago. The idea here is that you'll find out what formulas are in your spreadsheet really quickly, and also be able to look at a cell and say, where is this cell being used in this spreadsheet? Stick around, cool stuff coming up. So let's get to know our spreadsheet a little bit. I'm going to use Control Squiggle. Now the squiggle is on the keyboard. It's right beside the number 1 key. And we're going to go Control Squiggle to show all of our formulas. I might have to zoom out a little bit in order to see them all. But what's nice about this is it shows us our spreadsheet. So let's just start at the beginning here. Here's our wholesale price, C8. There's no formulas in it. It's just a number. Then over here, I can see it's using cell C8 to get the markup. So we buy it at $68.39, and then we mark it up by this amount up here, 0.4, which is actually 40%. You'll see it switch back in a minute. If I click on that markup, it actually highlights for me the two cells that are used in the formula. So $68.39, that's in C8, and we're multiplying it by 0.4 or 40%. That gives us our markup. So that's how much we would mark it up by. Let me Control Squiggle to show us the actual number. So $27.36. So every time we sell a water pump, we make $27.36. We pay $68 for it, and we mark it up 40%. So I'm going to go Control Squiggle again. Let's talk about the next one. Now the next one is the price after markup. D8 plus C8. So we're taking the wholesale price plus the markup, and that's what we're selling it for. All right. So we figured out what the markup was, and then we're adding it to the wholesale price. Now the next one, we're going to now charge 10% shipping. So we've taken this price after markup, whatever the markup was plus the wholesale price, we've taken that price, and now we're multiplying it by 10% or 0.1. That's going to give us our shipping. And then finally, this last one, the retail price, the price after markup, and now that price after markup has come from the markup plus the wholesale price, and the shipping, that was created from the price after markup as well. And now we're just saying, just add those last two figures up, and that's what we're going to charge our client. So we're going to charge them that amount, and look at all the different calculations. So there's been quite a string here. Figure out the markup, then we add the markup in the wholesale, then we take that price after markup, figure out the shipping, and then we add the price after markup in the shipping. Wow. So this isn't a lesson on formulas per se, but this would be an example of, I just got this spreadsheet, maybe I inherited this spreadsheet, and I have to figure out what's going on with it. So that tool might be really good for you. Now there's another tool as well. I'm going to Control Squiggle to come out of that. There's another one called Tracing Precedence and Tracing Dependence. So if I go up to my formulas bar here, I'm going to say, I just opened the spreadsheet up and I now have to figure it out. Maybe I did a Control Squiggle and my columns got really small when I did that, and there was just a lot going on there. It was hard for me to figure out which ones. Sometimes Control Squiggle honestly is the best, but here's another option for you. I'm going to click on Markup, and then in my Formulas tab, I'm going to click on Trace Precedence. And when I do that, it does it in a different way, doesn't it? It shows me this cell and this cell. So I know that those two cells are used to create this one. I'm going to remove the arrows, and I'm going to try it on the next one. Price after markup. Where is that coming from? Trace Precedence. So it says that that's those two, the $68 and the $27. Now watch this. I'm going to hit Trace Precedence again, and it now tells me if that 27 came from somewhere else. Yes, it did. It came from the 40% times the 68.39. Now if I hit it again, it doesn't do anything. It beeps at me, as a matter of fact, because that's it. That's the end of the road. It's the end of the chain. So it gives us an idea of, start here. How did this number come about? I'm going to remove the arrows. We're going to go to the shipping. Remember the shipping? It was created from the price after markup times that 10%. click on trace precedence again. It's saying the price after markup comes from the wholesale price and the markup, and hit it again. And now it's telling me where the markup came from. Now, I don't know if you think this is a little bit more confusing or not, but it's much more visual. You don't have to really do as much figuring out on your own. You don't have to click and look, and it's just different. And then we'll do the last one. I'm going to remove the arrows and do the last one. Click. So retail price comes from those two. Click. Shipping comes from, well, it just does the rest of them now. The shipping comes from the 10%, and the price after markup comes from the wholesale price and the markup. There should be one more. Yes, the markup comes from that 40%. So one more click and it beeps at me, so I know that I've gone all the way down the chain. So I think if you were to look at this, it would be confusing. But if you were to go click, oh, okay, click, oh, okay, like just do it backwards, one at a time. I think that might work really well. So those are the precedents. Now we have the dependents. So this would be more things like 40%. Where is 40% used? Where is this cell C2? Where is this used in my spreadsheet? I'm going to go trace dependents, and it tells me that that cell is used in all of the formulas in column D. And that makes sense to us, doesn't it? Because we used cell C2 in all the formulas in column D. I'm going to control squiggle that, and you can see it. Look at all those C2s being used. Control squiggle again. I'm going to go trace dependents again, and it says now that 40% is also used to figure out E, because it was used to figure out D, and D is used to figure out E. Hit it again, and retail price. So that 40% was used in D, and then it was used in E, and then it was used in G. So the shipping didn't really have anything to do with the 40%, but all of the rest of them did. So again, if you just looked at this, you'd like, wow, what is going on here? But if you click on it one by one by one and just stop and figure out, okay, what did that do? What did that do? Then that might make more sense as well. So I'm going to remove that. Let's try it with one of these. Let's try it with this cell. Let's try it with price after markup. Trace precedents. Notice how it didn't go to the wholesale price or the markup. Those were precedents. So this is the dependent. Where is this $95.75 being used? It's not used anywhere on the left-hand side of it. It's used on the right. If I click it again, it says it's also used in the shipping. So the price after markup is used for retail price, and it's also used for shipping. Hit it again and it beeps at me. And I'm going to remove the arrows. So that's kind of a fun little tool. I hope you can bring up one of your spreadsheets, whether it's one that you know everything there is to know about it or not. Bring it up, take a look at it, do a control squiggle, see what you can do with it. Click on some cells, control squiggle, so stop showing your formulas. And then just try practicing with the trace precedents and the trace dependents. That's it for this time. See you next time.